हजार बर्फ गिरे, हजार आंधियां उठे, वो फूल खिल के रहेंगे जो खिलने वाले. Hello and welcome to this special edition of BDC TV's special program Sane Voice with Rana. Today I am going to introduce you to a very special person. Why am I saying this? Because the Women's Day is far from over. 6th of March, praises have been done, women praising women, and we are all kind of glorifying each other, fine enough. But we have brought to a program a person who glorifies women, who helps women. Therefore, our guest on the Women's Day is a man, Anurag Chauhan. Welcome to the show, Anurag.
Thank you so much for having me, Rana ji. We've been talking for so long, and finally we get to meet virtually for the first time on the show. So thank you for having me on this show.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming with the shawl, which is your signature style. So I would like to tell viewers first who is Anurag Chauhan and why he is the special guest in Sane Voice with Rana on International Women's Day. He is a guest because he looks after women and their menstrual hygiene. Isn't it strange? So let's talk to him, and he does it through his wash project. I'm not taking up much footage. I will go straight to Anurag Chauhan and ask him why did he take up this project? What is the wash project and what does he do under this? What is his future plans and everything that he can tell us about women's menstrual hygiene in India. So Anurag, what is the wash project? Number one, why did you start for menstrual hygiene in India?
So basically the wash project is very wide as a subject when we talk about it. Usually लोग मुझसे कई बार कहते हैं that is it just you go and give out sanitary napkins? I said no. जैसे हर एक subject बहुत wide होता है, similarly menstrual hygiene management is a very wide subject. And to be very specific, there are 5 points that we work on. The very first point is awareness. Now, why is awareness even required in today's day and time? Because we have been instilled with various things that we've been told for thousands and thousands of years. So even today, the belief system of the people living in the rural setup is so strong that they want to follow what they have been told hundreds of years back. Now, for example, a lot of women have been told that ये एक बीमारी है या ये एक श्राप है. This is a, and to be menstruating is a curse, and that you're born as a woman, this is why you're getting this pain. Now, this is something so stupid that is happening. Apart from that, you see, even today, women are kept outside their houses. They're kept in cow sheds. They're kept in, they're not allowed to come inside the house. In fact, in Uttarakhand, there was a village where women were made to sit in a menstrual hut, which was created by the villagers, which was outside the village, and 3 women died in this village. Now, that is the mindset that we are fighting against. So awareness starts not just amongst the women, but also amongst their family members. And then coming to the younger generation, also amongst those who are about to start with menstruation. And often it is said कि आप तो एक पुरुष हो, आप तो एक मर्द हो, आपको इससे क्या मतलब? I said,
I wanted to ask you this. Yeah.
I think I have come out of a woman, and I think everyone who's come out of a woman should know about it and should know that what their mother is going through, what their sister is going through, what their girlfriends are going through. Now, often you will see sitting in, a fancy college, or you're going to anywhere in Delhi University, you talk to the youngsters. The girls will say, ki, my boyfriend never understands us. Now, why is that the boyfriend never understands you? Is because the boyfriend never got to know about it. No one told the boyfriend about menstruation. आप स्कूल में देख लीजिए, जब स्कूल में हम पढ़ते हैं, इस चैप्टर जरूर होता है हमारी बायोलॉजी की किताब में, पर कई बार उसको पढ़ाया नहीं जाता. Now, a lot of people started blaming the teachers. Why should the teacher be blamed? Because the teacher also comes from the same society, from the same background as we do, and she has a similar mindset, which is why she flips through the pages. Now, mothers and sisters, everyone is hesitant to talk about it, and this is one of the biggest challenges I face. That why are you talking about it? Now, आपने मुझसे सवाल पूछा कि इसकी शुरुआत कैसे हुई. I will tell you about various.
पहले मेरी क्वेश्चन आपसे ये था कि वॉश प्रोजेक्ट है क्या?
Okay, so awareness के बारे में मैंने आपको बताया कि वो that is the first point of the awareness. Now, awareness also amongst those girls who do not know about this, and I think be it girl or a man, all of a sudden if you start bleeding, you will be surprised, you will be traumatized, which is why awareness about the same is very important. The second point is where we talk about nutrition. Why nutrition? Because even today 14% of the population living in India is malnourished, and often we think that malnourishment is because of poverty. Of course, that is one of the main reasons, but if you go to the village setups, you will see gender bias is one of the biggest issues, where mothers intentionally or unintentionally do not give enough food to their daughters, thinking that the sons need more food. So we have a team of nutrition nutritionist who will plan what kind of food is supposed to be given. Now, whenever we talk about nutrition, especially living in the cities, we think of exotic fruits, we think of avocados, but these things are not that we can suggest these people. One, they can't afford it. It's not accessible to them, and it's not available in the region that they are. So these are the three main points of the nutrition project, where we have to see what is the availability, what is the accessibility, and what is the affordability of that product that we're suggesting them to buy. Accordingly, these nutritionists talk to the mothers, the ones who run the houses, the mothers, and inform them about the same. The third point is where we talk about mental health. Now, often people again ask this question: कि menstruation के बीच में mental health कहाँ से आ गई? It is so sad that in a country where we are seeing that we deal with, you talk about doctors, you talk about army professionals, you talk about police officers. In every profession there is some kind of trauma, and I think when these doctors, army professionals, army officers, and police officers, they see so much of bloodshed, they see so much of violence, and I think trauma management is something that we should look after. We should definitely pay heed to this topic. Similarly, I told you in the first point that women, when they bleed for the first time, उनको ये मालूम नहीं होता कि ये वो हो क्या रहा है, and why is it happening to me? And because of that unawareness, they are traumatized. Now, a lot of women I have met with, they have told me that we have slept for 10 days thinking that we are about to die, because when they see so much of blood, they think it's a fatal disease, and rather than going to someone, they're so scared that they keep it up to themselves, and that leaves them with trauma. Now, maybe after 15 days, 20 days, they forget about the incident, but somewhere down the line, somewhere in their subconscious mind, that remains, which is why it is very important to address it, and we address it through counselors and professionals who reach to the villages with us with our workshops and talk to these women and girls about the same. Second thing is कि कई बार हम देखते हैं कि आज आप एक शहर में रहती हैं, और अगर आपको कोई दिक्कत होगी तो आप एकदम से अपने किसी दोस्त को फोन उठा के बोल सकते हैं कि मैं इस प्रॉब्लम से गुजर रही हूँ या मुझे ये दिक्कत हो रही है. But how many women living in the rural setup have the time and liberty to talk about their issues? आप देखेंगे, and the courage, वो सुबह 4 बजे से लेकर रात के 10-11 बजे तक अपने कामों में लगी रहती है कि उनके पास समय ही नहीं होता कि पहले वो अपनी प्रॉब्लम को देखें. They don't even feel that their own problem is big enough to address, because they value the family so much, they value the work, the daily chores so much. So what we have done is listening circles. We have created listening circles of about 30 to 40 women who come together and address their issues. Now, इसका एक और रीजन ये भी है कि कई बार हमको लगता है जब हम किसी मुश्किलों से गुजर रहे होते हैं तो हमको लगता है कि हम इसमें अकेले हैं. We are the only ones in this problem. But when these women come together, they know that there are so many other people also who are going through the same problem or similar issue, and we should not take this so seriously as we are. So first of all, at the listening circle, they come together and discuss about. इसके बाद इनके 1-to-1 counseling sessions होते हैं. इसके अलावा अगर उनके देखा जाता है कि उनमें कोई health issues हैं, तो we also have gynecologists who also deal with their health issues. So it is very, very important to such discuss such topics and talk about such. So that is what we have been doing in the listening circle.
I'll intervene, Anurag. Like you say that you have nutritionists, you have other people who kind of help them. How do you go about it? Like, do you go in a village, rural areas, say for example in a group, and how do you call out to women to listen to you? How does it work?
So that at the ground level, the very first thing is it's very common that, I mean, even if you're in a city and you start asking a woman, are you bleeding or are you menstruating? She'll be like, why are you even asking this is something so personal. So of course we don't go and start talking about menstruation. We start very basic. We start with activities like painting. Sometimes we distribute something, sometimes we call them for meetings, and there is a way of rapport building where we get to know them, they get to know us. Also, what helps us a lot is the local, what I call them, the local celebrities, be it a pradhan, be it a local someone is there from a royal family of someone knows the village very well and villagers know them well. We call those people wife of the pradhan. Always, most of the places, the wife of the pradhan has played the most important role of introducing us to the women, and from there, once they understand that these people are here for the welfare of our village or welfare for us, that's when they start opening up. That's when they start talking to you about their issues. Also, a lot of places, it's funny, but a lot of women start calling me Dr. Bab because they think कि वो आपके workshop है तो शायद ये doctor है. So, but yes, often we've been faced with a lot of issues where people said that you cannot talk about this. There were elderly women who would say that you cannot teach this to our women. आप बिगाड़ रहे हो यहाँ पे हमारी महिलाओं को ये सब बातें.
Really, that's what. I wanted to know. I wanted to know the concerns and struggles that you face on ground. Okay. Basically, like the ones you're talking.
So there's so many like these. In fact, once we were in Maharashtra in one of the villages, and I remember one of the man, he came up to me and said कि आप क्यों मेरी बीवी को बिगाड़ रहे हो यहाँ पे बुला.
Oh really? Okay.
While I was trying to explain to him that what am I doing, he was so aggressive that if there were not enough people there, he would have started beating me up, because he thinks it's in his mindset, in his whatever he was thinking that by teaching women, by teaching them to do the right thing the right way, or telling them that if there is any kind of problem at home, because when we talk about menstrual hygiene, we do not just restrict to it, we listen to the other problems also. And if a woman is saying that my husband is an alcoholic, so we would make her aware about whatever she could do at home, maybe give her the information about the rights that she has, maybe tell her about the numbers that she can call at. We also inform them about all the information that we have, we impart to them. Now that becomes a problem, because they think by telling them what is right or what is wrong, you are bigadoing them. And that's what I simply don't understand in today. But of course, I agree to the fact that we have all come through patriarchy. So it's not very easy to just uproot it and remove it from anywhere. It takes a lot of time, courage, energy to take it out from there. And that's what, it's a very slow process with a snail pace moving. But there have been places where people have really appreciated, people have really welcomed us. In another village in Maharashtra, it is called Belaj गांव. वहां पर आदमियों ने ढोल नगाड़ों के साथ हमको हमारे invite किया था. And this workshop was happening inside a temple, because there was no other big place where we could have about 200 women. They said मंदिर है, मंदिर के अंदर आप बात सकते हैं.
Oh, though women are not allowed while they're
menstruating, but they invite us to a temple. And you see, in this village, the men invited us, welcomed us with the holes. So we've had all kinds of experiences and slums. Sometimes I've seen even educational institutions. When you go to the government schools and colleges to talk about this, they think they become very uncomfortable and they don't want to talk about. And again, nothing is to be blamed but the same society that we have come up, the same mindset that we have been with. इसके बारे में बात करना सही नहीं है. But for how long?
Basically, do you feel a problem as a man? This is a man, this is a young boy, right? You're not even 30 yet, right? Yeah?
I'm 27.
So when a young man goes to young women talking about it, you face problems at that level also. I mean, like an elderly women.
One thing is for sure, that I definitely don't look my age. So whenever I go there, they know one thing for sure, that he's definitely not 27. If I was doing the same thing 10 years ago, maybe I would have looked like a small little kid going
there.
Well,
I don't agree with it though.
also I think the mindset of the people is such that if I was going to those villages and slums, wearing my if I was wearing a jeans or shorts or a shirt or a t-shirt, I've seen how people change completely when I dress up in two different ways. When I'm dressed up in a kurta pajama and a shawl, it is completely different. People want to give you respect even if you don't deserve it. And on the other side, if you wear shorts, no matter how much respect you would ask for, or how much work you are doing wearing those clothes, they will not give you that. And when I say respect, it is also about acknowledgement. कई बार ऐसा होता था जब मैंने शुरुआत करी अपने social work से देहरादून में, people would not even address that he's present here. They would not want to talk to you because they think he's a young boy, and they don't take you seriously. But all of a sudden, when this shift happened, when I started wearing different clothes, I realized that yes, the mindsets of the people also changed. The perceptions of people changed towards me. And this clothing definitely, I'll say, has helped a lot. When I go to villages, people take you more seriously. They sit with you, they talk to you. And also, I have not done workshops all alone. I mean, I will have women along. There are so many women who are with me. And it's not that ki har baar workshop ke liye main hi jata. There are instances or places where I would go for workshops. But there are, we have a group of women who would go to individual workshops in different parts of the country, because abhi hum log 5 states mein kaam kar rahe hain. I can't be present at every place. So wherever I can go, I would go. But there are women who are running this project in different places. Right. So I was on point number 4.
Please go ahead, then I'll ask it. Go ahead. I want to listen to you.
So point number 4, where we were talking about giving pads to women. Now it's like food to someone. एक दिन आप किसी को खाना दे दें और फिर अगले दिन उससे पूछे ना तो वो एक टाइम का खाना तो वो खा लेगा. What will that person do next time? So I do not believe in this kind of concept where charity also today has a very different definition. एक जमाना हुआ करता था when the rulers and the kings would take care of the praja. But in today's time, what is charity? If Anurag does not want this kurta anymore, rather than discarding it, he will say that let's donate it. Acha, I don't even say that it is wrong. It is fine that at least उसको कचरे में फेंकने के बजाय आप किसी को दे रहे हैं, उसका कोई इस्तेमाल कर रहा है. But at the same time, this is what charity has become. People would not take out something new to give out to people.
Right.
People, this is what is happening, and that is why I do not even agree of giving food to someone, because हमको हमेशा college में ये सिखाया जाता था that each time as a social worker, if you want to empower someone, you have to bring them to a level where they can buy their own food, where they can buy their own clothes. You don't have to give them, you don't have to make them dependent on yourself.
Absolutely.
And that is what we've been trying to do even with the WASH project. When we give them free sanitary napkins, we give them enough to use for at least 2 to 3 months. And these ones I'm talking about single-use sanitary napkins. It is a mindset that अगर आप किसी भी practice को 21 दिन तक करते हैं, so it becomes a habit. And that is what we want, that we want them to get into this habit of using sanitary pads. But what will happen if we don't reach out to them again? Again, they will not have any money, they will not buy anything, and again they will resort to the same old practices. So what we also do in point number 5 is we teach them how to make these sanitary pads. Now the sanitary pads that they have been making are cloth sanitary pads. We have taught I don't know how many people during the lockdown. When I knew this one thing would happen, मुझे ये नहीं पता था जब मैंने ये project start किया था that ऐसा दौर आएगा जब इतने दो डेढ़ साल के लिए हमारा देश बंद हो जाएगा. There'll be a lockdown or there'll be so many issues. But I knew for sure that there will be a time when we will not be able to reach out to these women, and these women will not be able to reach out to us. And which is why when we taught them so well that during the lockdown in Delhi, you are a resident of Delhi, you would know that sanitary napkins were not considered in the essentials list. जिसकी वजह से कितनी supermarket है, कितनी बड़ी stores हैं, वहां पर sanitary napkins available ही नहीं. And at that point,
the government put a tax on it. Yeah. Yes. The government later even put a tax on it.
Yes.
Yeah, tax.
And in the first lockdown, there were about 1,03,000 kits that were made by these village women to send it to Delhi. And they sent it to Delhi so that women in Delhi do not face the issue of the scarcity of the sanitary pads. So no one, the women that we have taught in so many years, no one faced an issue during the lockdown because they could make their own pads. Now, what happened after we started making their own pads is they started their own small little groups where these women are making sanitary napkins in bulk and then going themselves and selling it at low cost. So it has become sort of cottage industry for them, where they started earning money out of this. So this is what about the WASH project. There's so many other things to it, but these are the 5 main points on what we work.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So how do you teach them? Do you have people to teach them? Because this is an expertise in a way. Do they get the number one? And number two is when you say that you have taught them this, before that, what I'd like you to tell me briefly what were the practices that they used to do. When I covered this, and as well as this defecation in open, I got to know that some of them used to use soil, mitti. Some of them used to use ashes. Some of them used to use these leaves and tree trunks, and they would kind of, unko cheel ke use karte the because they didn't have enough clothes to use. So how did you
absolutely
did you right. number one, did you face these kinds of problems, and what additionally did they use?
Absolutely, you are absolutely correct. This is what most of the women do use even today. You said soil. You go to Rajasthan, they use the sand. So sometimes it is the sand. Sometimes it is the soil, sometimes it is the hay, जिसको आप तो सूखा hay जो होता है, they use that. Sometimes they use dry leaves, as you said, and also sometimes they use cloth, but they use a dirty cloth. Now the reason behind dirty cloth is, आपने कई बार सुना होगा, कभी भी हम लोग एक टेबल पे बैठे होते हैं and we want to probably something कुछ गिर जाता है and we want to clean it. So immediately people would say गंदा कपड़ा लेकर आना. To clean something, we often use a dirty. Now same concept, because these women have been told over and over again that it is a dirty process. They end up using a dirty cloth to when they're menstruating, because and that leads to so many other issues. That leads to infections. It leads to issues. So yes, women have been using that even today. We've had a lot of problems by when we teach them. ये सवाल कई बार मुझसे लोग पूछते हैं that why don't you reach out to women with menstrual cups? Now this is exactly what I want to explain to them. When these women are using that, when they're doing using sand and ash and dry leaves, from there I can't immediately tell them to use a menstrual cup, because you will never want that your child, no matter how bright your child is, you don't want to send your child from class 1 to class 10 just because you think my child is bright enough. No. So we give them sanitary napkins, we teach them how to make their own sanitary napkins. And as you asked that, yes, there is a team of people, there is a research team which is headed by Sonali in our NGO. Sonali is basically a designer, but also also, she's a researcher. She's the one who's doing all the analytics for the NGO, and she's the one who makes these sanitary pads. At the same time, Jalpa, who's in Maharashtra, she's also teaching women. So most of the time during the lockdown, I think we have taught about 3,000 people during the lockdown while from Zoom. And these are the women who teach how to make sanitary pads from our NGO to women and to men. There are men, there are students. We have also gone to schools where we say that we have a SUPW in school. In that SUPW period, we ask children to make sanitary pads. And when these school children make sanitary pads, they understand what is it for. And when they understand what is it for, they also understand how important it is. And that is how we're trying to instill and give them the knowledge about menstrual hygiene and menstruation. And once the school has enough sanitary pads, they would go out and distribute it free of cost in their nearby areas as community service. So this is what we're trying to do with the school students.
So that brings me to a question as to how many states have you reached and how many are your beneficiaries so far under the WASH project?
There are about 5 states that we have covered. We have been working, and I mean, when I say covered, we have just touched it, and we're trying to cover it completely. We are in Uttarakhand, we are working in UP, we're working in Delhi, NCR, Rajasthan, and Maharashtra. Other than these places, we have organized workshops in the Northeast, we have organized workshops in Kashmir, but I'll not say we are working there because we must have done maybe 3 or 4 workshops or 10 workshops at most, but that's not enough. So I will not say that we have worked in those states. Whereas in these 5 states that I mentioned initially are the states where we are extensively work 5 to 6 years. And the whole goal and
beneficiaries,
there are beneficiaries, direct beneficiaries. There's, I mean, I've never ever counted, but according to the sanitary pads that have gone, according to the team that Sonali is the one who's person who's doing analytics, we have reached out to about 2.5 million women in last 5 years.
Across these states.
Across these states and few other states where we have done small little workshops, but we are not working there consistent. These 5 states are the states where we are working consistently there, where we have set up of people, where people are then, we are working with Anganwadi workers, we are working with school teachers, we are working with school students, and then it is multiplying, because when we teach one Anganwadi teacher, she's teaching it to then 10 other people in her vicinity. So this is how we've been expanding, and we want to reach out.
Right. Anurag, is a huge project. How do you get your funds? Who is your financier? Do you get enough funds to kind of reach out to people? Because it costs logistics. It costs that cotton and a lot of things that you need to buy and reach out to people.
It is very, very expensive. Trust me. When we started making these pads professionally, I would see how expensive the cotton is, how expensive the flannel is. And then when we used to make these pads, I would say, oh my God, how will we get the money to make these pads? It is very, very expensive. To be very honest, when I started this project, Ranaji, I was a minor. And when I started the social work, I was minor. And when I registered this organization, I was studying in my college. And those days, I did not really have enough time to run after corporates or even worry about the registration. But once it was registered, everything was done. I still did not have a bank account. I would just take out money from my pocket money. I will ask my friends to contribute, and that's how I would run this project. But now that we're expanding to 5 states, as of now, the only corporate who has supported us in last 1 year is Ferns and Pebbles. And Ferns and Pebbles have given us their CSR budget and asked us to help in the regions that they're working in Delhi, NCR, and UP, where we have got immense help from their side. But other than that, where I lack, as I say, this is maybe one of the shortcomings, that I have not been able to reach out to corporates or reach out to people asking for money. I mean, you and I have been connected on a social media for so many years, but you must have never seen me asking for money, which I've never done, because
it's very difficult. Yeah, it's very difficult to ask money, basically, even if it is for cause. Yeah.
So I really think that, I can do what work I'm doing, and if money has to come, it can flow. It has happened that, we have got help. But yes, funding is one of the most important issues which we are now addressing. We are realizing that, we cannot actually expand to a 6th state if we don't have enough money. So we are working towards it, and most probably, hopefully, by the kind of work we're doing, by the kind of appreciation and love that we're getting by the people, I think we will definitely find someone to fund us in future.
Right, inshallah, you'll certainly will. You started in 2014, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. And now, what are your plans like to kind of expand this project? You also got Karmavir Award because of this, and you are also attached to UNESCO, if I'm not wrong. Can you tell me something about first your plans and then your awards?
So the plans are we are setting up machines now. Now, Ranaji, what has happened is while we are doing this project, each day we learn about different things. Each day we realize that acha, ye practice might be outdated. This practice might be, something that we want to do. All the things that have been said in the past are not wrong. For example, you take an example of people telling us don't cut your nails at night. And
actually.
the reason behind was that there was no electricity at that point of time, and people would cut their nails with blade or with sharp stones. And uska reason ye hota tha ki wo apni ungli pe cut na jaye, or you should not get harmed by it. Now, in today's day and time, when you have electricity, you have a nail cutter, you have nail filers today. I don't think we should bother about something that was said so many years ago. Similarly, there are so many things which might be relevant at one point of time, but today it has no relevance, and that's what we need to understand, that it has no relevance today. Now, by that, what I was trying to tell you is, the cloth pad that we have been using, a lot of people say it is eco-friendly. Well, it is better than the products available in the market, but I don't call it eco-friendly because it's a cloth pad which is reusable. And each time it is washed, you're using fresh water to wash. That means you're wasting that water, which is one of the most important natural resources in our world. Each time you waste water, you can't call that cloth pad eco-friendly. And even if you want to call it eco-friendly, you may, but the problem is that a lot of women do not have enough water in villages and slums. So those places where women are facing issues with water, what we have done is we're setting up machines to make 100% eco-friendly sanitary, which is made out of bamboo, banana, and sugarcane. Now, this is a very, very fine sanitary napkin without any chemical. It has no chemical, it has no plastic, and this sanitary napkin will be then given to the women. We are also trying that every state where we are working in, there should be a machine. We will train more women to run that, to make these pads as well, and they will also earn out it. So it is not just developing their skills, but also giving them a possible job, employment while they're. And then these sanitary pads could become they could become one of the best alternatives available in the market, according to me. Because what I feel is, be it a man or a woman, when you go out to a shopkeeper, you're always concerned, even if it's a SPF, you're always concerned that isse mujhe koi allergy na ho jaye. It should not leave me with any kind of pimples. Oh, what are the chemicals used? I have seen people inquiring about the product that they want to use on their face. But it is unfortunate when people go to the market, they never ever ask that what is this sanitary pad made of? Why is there so many chemicals in our sanitary pad? And that is one reason why Stray Free and Whisper and so many other brands are becoming bigger and bigger, not understanding how much chemical are there in those pads. And that pad, which is a plastic pad, is there on the earth for 500 to 600 years. Now, what about that waste? There's hardly anyone even concerned about this. While we talk about environment and we're talking about becoming eco-friendly, we have to think about the waste that is being generated. And there are multiple other problems. People ask me in cities that if we have this waste, where should we dump it? There are no dustbins. You talk to DMs, you talk to SDMs. There should be special dustbins for this, which are called for the hazardous waste, which are yellow in color. Very rare you will find those yellow dustbins in hospitals. But otherwise, people don't have places to dump. So the new kind of you're so interesting to talk that actually you don't want to interfere when you're talking. The new sanitary pads that you're making through bamboos, reusable or they are use and throw ones? Use and throw, but they're biodegradable. How much biodegradable? Yes, of course. So how much will it cost? Well, I have not, to be very honest, I will be able to give you a cost, but maybe not right now. You're asking the cost of a pad or cost of the machine? Cost of a pad and machine. So machine would cost somewhere around 10 to 20 lakhs, depending on the quality of the product that you need. A pad would cost about 50 rupees and it can go up to 100 rupees, also depending on the quality of the product. But that's costly for the people who are living in rural areas. Absolutely. Rupees 50. They'd rather buy a dal or a chawal. Absolutely. Which is the whole idea behind making these pads, is that we want to give it out free of cost, but at the same time, we do not want to finish the concept of the cloth napkins that we are making. But at the same time, the idea behind using these pads and introducing these pads in the market is so that we as an organization, probably, maybe if we start selling these pads, would make enough money to be able to use that money and, put it into the work that we want to do. Because as you asked, funding has been so difficult for all of us that I thought that maybe this could be something that would help us fund the projects that we want. So that is the whole idea behind this. I wanted to know, Anurag, because it's of course a noble cause, as well as you are also trying to produce empowerment for many people who could help you making
years. Do companies like you say, Stay Free and Whisper, did they come to you to say, well, we want to donate these many, and you refused, or you did not refuse because you actually needed them? Did they actually come forward to kind of produce the kind of napkins that you're talking?
No company has ever got in touch. One reason probably could be because no matter how sweet I sound, but when I'm not so sweet, when I'm in my form, I could be seen as a devil, and I think that's what people have seen. That when I'm against something, I have very strong views. If I am against something, no matter who that person is, I will stay against that. Now, no matter how much they lure. So indirectly, you can say there are organizations, I will not like to name them, but indirectly, people have approached me saying that they want to donate you these many pads, and would you want to use them? Or people have said that why don't you come on board with that organization so that you both join hands and they can help you with whatever material you want. But the same thing, why would I want their pads? Because I'm strongly against them. They are the ones because of which so many women today could have cancer because of the sanitary pads that they are making. So I would not ever want to collaborate with them or even take funding for that matter from them.
So you're producing some enemies on this. कहते हैं अगर आपका दुश्मन नहीं है तो फिर you're not doing it, right? So
there have so many.
Yeah. So Anurag, because of course you're a man, and when you started this project, did you have a kind of group of people who must be saying कुछ और काम कर लेते, why are you doing that? Your friends, your female friends, male friends, otherwise, what was the reaction of the people when you started out? Well, and what do they think of you now?
To be very honest, it's not just about the Prosh project. When I started doing social work, I was 14 years old. And when I started from my school days, people would say that, oh, ये सिर्फ 2 दिन की चांदनी है, ये लोगों को थोड़ा सा इसको शौक चढ़ गया है, ये ठीक हो जाएगा. मतलब they used to say as if कोई बीमारी हो कि ये इसको 2 दिन का नशा चढ़ा है, ये ठीक हो जाएगा. I said ठीक हो जाएगा क्या मतलब है? I mean, this is what I want to do. When I went for my after my schooling was finished, and I went for my bachelor's degree in social work, people said ये BSW क्या होता है? And people did not even know that there is a degree in social work. And of course, there were a lot of people saying that why would you want to do this? Why don't you go for a management course? Why don't you go for something that will help you in the? I said I want to help the future, which is why I want to do social work and I want to gain the knowledge in social work. Now, when I went to college, a lot of my professors asked me this question that you already have the field experience of 7 to 8 years. Why do you want to come to college? Now, I want to go to college because the idea is that I might be doing a thing that I think is right. But to make sure that what I'm doing is right, I need to go to a college so that I learn what is right and wrong there. As of now, I'm doing what I think is right. So that is what happened. When I went to college, I understood that there's so many practices, there's so many things that could be wrong and could be right. And throughout, people have said that, I don't think you will make a career out. I don't think you'll do the right thing. I think you're spoiling your future. But now, after the appreciation that I have received over the years, be it in Dehradun, be it in Delhi, elsewhere, the awards, as you talked about, the kind of awards that I have received, the kind of glare, the public glare that you have gained out of doing all that work has somehow, of course, I'm not saying that is what motivates me, but that's what shuts up a lot of it helps. And it then, there's so many people who come up to me say, oh, we're very sorry about what we thought 10 years back, and what we see today is completely different. And the thing is that somewhere down the line, I think even I was not sure that am I doing the right thing, because I have seen social work where social work is only about, I mean, for a lot of people, I think social work is about satisfying their own self, but your own satisfaction cannot help the society. Like, for example, आप किसी को खाना खिलाते हैं, you often say that, oh no, I'm doing it for my own satisfaction. Well, do it, but make sure that there is an impact of the work that you're doing. Otherwise, that satisfaction is of no use. So by just satisfying your own soul, you are not helping the society. You have to make it both ways, that you should satisfy yourself, of course, but at the same time it should have an impact. And my work has always been, I want to do something, but I want to do something which can show impact, which I can be proud of, that this is what I have done. And that is what we've been trying to do for so many years. When
was the first time you actually spoke to someone about this, and what was the reaction? I'll finish my
It was when I was in school and I was stealing my mother's sanitary. I was stealing her sanitary pads because I would often see the television commercials showing that it can absorb so much of ink. So I used to sit with an ink pen and water, and I would drip one by one drop, and I will see how much it can absorb. And one day my mother saw me doing that, and she said, why are you doing this? But thankfully she didn't say that ye ek aurat ke liye hai, you should not know about it, or what are you doing
Yeah.
with this? She
Yeah.
definitely scolded me for wasting it, but she never said that you should not do it. Of course, I asked her, what is it for? Initially it was so funny because I thought it was a band-aid. When my mother said it is for my blood, I thought it's a band-aid because it has stickers, and it is like a band-aid. As a child, I thought it was a bigger band-aid for a bigger wound, and that's how the curiosity started, and I started looking up it. I started reading articles, and then one of the articles that I read, it showed that 180,000 women die every year because of poor menstrual hygiene. And this statistics, it was written in the article that this statistics is not very accurate, because we do not actually know. This is an estimate that they had calculated. Now it was so upsetting for me, because that was the time when everyone was talking about women empowerment, and I was saying that so many women are dying in our country because of poor menstrual hygiene, and no one is even talking about it. Now of course everyone wants to talk about it because it become fashionable, but at that point of time when I was a kid, no one was bothered about it, and that was disturbing. That how can you empower a woman when you can't even save her life? The very first thing that you have to do is save her life, and then probably think about empowering.
Sorry, because the last question is, what is your plan now to buy?
So the next plan is, of course, to expand to more places. The plan is to reach out to as many people as possible. The plan is to eradicate poor menstrual hygiene from this country. I think in 2018, I gave this statement that poor menstrual hygiene can be as big as polio if it is not, if we don't look into it, it will become a problem as big as polio. And that was the time when a lot of people mocked at me, made fun of the statement that I gave, because they thought that since he's working in this field, isko periods ke alawa aur kuch nahi dikhai deta, and that is why he's giving such a stupid remark. Now, in 2019 and 20, an international study came out, and this international study said that no access to menstrual hygiene products, which has become fifth biggest reason in this world for women to die. So, that big is the problem, and that is what we want to fight against. That is the problem that we want to address, and we want to reach out to this entire nation so that this problem of poor menstrual hygiene can be eradicated from this nation.
The one beautiful quality that I see in you, Anurag, is that you're always smiling. You look very humble, and you're a beautiful man. And we thank you from the BDC TV for being such a wonderful man and helping the women, and doing something even women feel shy of. I always say that one courageous man makes a majority. Again, I thank you for making a majority. Thank you for coming to BDC TV.
Thank you so much, Rana ji.
God
Thank you.
bless
So,
you.
what I'll
God
like
bless.
to end with this one thing that I've learned is what I met His Holiness Dalai Lama at the age of 15, and while talking to him, I could not rank. And all of a sudden, when I was asked to ask him a question, I said, "Where do I find Buddha?" And he said he was well aware about the work that I was doing, and he said, "Each time there is a smile on someone's face, and you are the reason for that smile." He said, "For that fraction of moment when that person is smiling, you become Buddha." So I think you are the Buddha here for making me smile, and I give you the credit for making me smile. And thank you so much for having me on this show.
Thank you. God bless you.